Hello, trading is closed on May the 7th, 2025. As always, we'll do our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make our predictions. This is my trading plan for Thursday, May 8th, 2025. Remember, it's a plan. Plan can be changed, plan can be wrong. Trade at your own risk. Also, I won't be around for the close tomorrow. If something happens then, I won't find out until it's too late. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this. Tends to be a rally day, high in the fine hour. We got that, but this is a weak version of the pattern because we gapped up, hit a high, higher high, closed under all these highs. Now time doesn't run out until tomorrow's open, so if we open up here, that's the standard stuff. But if you can't close over the highs in any pattern, particularly these patterns, particularly this one, it leads to lower prices. Doesn't mean you have to close lower. So if you don't gap and take this out early, even though it's the pattern with the early low, this is a negative pattern. During the day we got an ultimate buy signal, but we got the lower target immediately. You don't have to stop at the target. We traded much lower, but MEJT said it wouldn't stick. Ultimately, we did trade higher, so that's been satisfied. I know it's easy to just jump on the short side when you're collapsing like this, and targets do fail, but if you just avoid short sales when you know there's a higher price target on tap, you might miss a few winners, but I'm certain you'll miss a lot more losers. The idea is we're looking for the top of blue B, and let's see what's going on here by going to a 5-minute chart. Well, once again we had a wall with gap pattern. That rally, but it's an unstable pattern, and within a day or so you undercut the low of the wall and find support there. So we did that. We also have the diamond on stilts pattern, and for the first 1 or 2 days, challenges of the origin of the left stilt tend to hold. There's support at and just under that level, and that tends to hold. But if it's much later than that, it tends to break in grand style. So anything from now on, if it breaks, should break in grand style. Now this is a gap. Now gaps don't have to fill, but when they're in a consolidation, they tend to, when they're in a pattern and you don't break out of a consolidation, they tend to occupy the same space as a consolidation, which takes place either before the gap or after the gap. So far, we're just filling the gap. That's all that's happened. And the operative pattern is the impulse down, and we have a corrective wave which is just correcting it. So far, that's the operative pattern, and until you clear this high, it tends to break lower. Now this gap was also filled. Part of it was filled here, and part of it was filled here. See, the whole thing fills. Now it's also possible to interpret this as a head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulders. We haven't broken the necklines, and head and shoulders patterns don't have to be tops. They can be consolidations. But if it's a consolidation, you should break this. And if it's a top, you should break this neckline, and when the neckline breaks, it should be a long way down. Now let's go back to our diamond on stilts pattern. These things tend to occur in bunches, 2, 3 at a time. You can count this as a stilt. Well, this is a stilt, that's a stilt, and here's your diamond. It's like a twisted diamond, but it's a diamond. So it's a back-to-back pattern. But here's a stilt. This is a diamond because half is enough. There's half a diamond. and the pattern doesn't have to go to completion, but if this breaks, it should break, but it often breaks with a stilt-like move down that takes us right to about 5,500, because this whole area hasn't filled yet, and you want to get some kind of consolidation at some point filling this area. I don't see it before, so it should come after. Now again, you gap and take this out, the whole thing falls apart. But for right now, this is a very vulnerable pattern, because the head and shoulders, where this shoulder can't equal this shoulder, has a tendency to break down. Now again, until you break through this, time doesn't run out. You can come up here tomorrow and make me look silly. That's always possible. But for right now, this is the operative pattern. You're backing and filling. You can't manage a close over any of these highs. You can't even equal this prior high. All we have to do is break through this after a few days have passed, and it can be a stilt-like drop, at least into the 5,500s, and probably down into the 5,400s too. Hasn't happened yet, but that's the risk here. Thursday's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. We gapped up, hit a higher high, but closed under intraday highs, and did it in a pattern which usually rallies into the final hour. If that's maintained at the open, it's a bearish pattern. Should lead to lower prices even if we don't close lower. Now bulls need to gap and promptly overtake the high a day to keep the rally going. We've tested our support levels so many times, I think it's going to be tough to do. Nothing's impossible. But the more time passes without breaking to the upside, and the more you test the downside, the greater the chance you're going to break that, and because of the diamond down stilts, you'll break it in grand style. If we break support instead, the pattern justifies a prompt move into the low 5,500s cash at the very least. So, these green lines are all prior FOMC announcement prices, so it pays to keep track of today's price. I mean, these prices, look how they work, and they printed months ago. Months. So keep track of 56.10.58. We've already 56.10.88. We've already had our three-leg whipsaw, and the first move was up. So even if we drop here, I think we're going to eventually go higher. But we could drop into the 5,500s or 5,400s first, and if we do, that would complete another diamond on stilts, and then we could have a huge rally. But that hasn't happened yet. And right now, I think this is negative stuff. We really have to clear these highs, really have to gap up. What are futures doing? Futures are down 5. That doesn't tell us anything. But I think it's going to be hard to do it. I mean, you've had days to break through this. All you've done is fill the gap. I don't know how we'll open tomorrow. You could open up here, prove me wrong. But if we come down here again, I don't think it's going to hold. So it's the pattern with the early low, and that's today's call.